I can tell which deer that is. That's one side of Droppy, the deer I've been chasing all fall.
On my way to checking trail cameras, I got a little surprise.
This deer is an absolute horse.
I'm really excited about this release. I mean, this is 100% my late season bow spot. This is why I built this food plot.
Grind begins. First batch of fall plots going in the ground this morning. Really just make a guy feel alive kicking off the year. We're not quite sprinting yet, but we're here, we're going, we're kicking it off.
We're gonna get some chores done, and not too far along, about 2 weeks away, we'll be hunting in the urban zone. So I'm excited to kick off the year, and stay tuned. I'm sure it's gonna be a fun one.
Probably one of my favorite spots to sit on the whole farm. So hopefully get some rain tonight and work it in, and then just start practicing with the bows and stuff and get ready for season.
This year he's really blown up into a great deer. This year he's going to be 6.5 years old, so he'll definitely be right there at the top of the list.
I'm excited. Season's almost here. It's going to be fun, and we got youth season coming up, and going to be getting things ready for that here in the next couple of weeks. We'll be talking more about that and what deer we're going to be going after. But
the one that we're most looking forward to showing back up is Turkeyfoot. And that's going to be a really fun deer to chase, a fun story to continue this fall. That deer and hoss, just a really big typical.
Pretty exciting. Hopefully we can follow the story of the birthday buck from August 5th here through the end of the season, and maybe we can wrap a tag around him. He sure is pretty.
It's been a lot of fun just knowing, after a full day of work, getting in the car to go ride around that buck's going to be out there.
Do you think we'll shoot a big buck this year?
Yeah. Blake's way over there.
Yeah, Blake is getting a ways away. We better go catch him. All right, well, that's going to wrap up today's work. This just kicked off a list of a ton of work to do. The boys are taking off, so we're going to call that a quits, but I'm really excited to bring you guys along and kick off another year. Well, I just got done planting this food plot behind me, and as you guys could see, this plot was already into beans. And that's something that we like to do on my farm with these fall plots that we're going to put into big and beastie like this. And mainly just because we get the beans through a local ag program for free. So we drill these beans in the spring, and then that allows us to, one, the deer have food to eat, which as you can see they just hammer. I can't grow beans on my farm. It's nice because then we can come in here August 1st, we don't have to worry about weed control, we don't have to worry about mowing. We just come in and either broadcast in like I did today, or we would drill this big and beastie right into the plot. So it's just such a natural travel corridor, and come November I'm always getting pictures of really nice bucks right here. Well, welcome back to another season of the Heartland Show here on Midwest Whitetail. Super excited to be back with you guys and share my hunts with you, my season, and I'm extra pumped up today. Today is August 31st, 2020, and the main show kicked off their first episode of the season today. So between that and we got some seasonal cool temps here that have moved in throughout the Midwest, can't help but not get excited for the upcoming season. So I'm out here on my farm today, and the goal today is just to check some cameras and kind of get a better update on the bucks, on what's around. We've been tracking them a little bit this summer, and then I definitely plan on sharing that with you guys. So, but as far as things going on, and upcoming this season, I'll be hunting with Brad again, and I know Brad's planning on getting in front of the camera a little more if he can. He'll have some bucks to update you guys with here over the next couple weeks, but same old story for me. I feel like I kick off the year, I might be more behind than the year before, and that seems to be the trend as I'm getting older, my kids are getting older, and just life. So I came back here out to the farm about a week ago and just did a little update, and then also check out some storm damage. On August 10th, we had a historical windstorm come through the Midwest, and it definitely hit our area too. So my full-time job during the day is an insurance agent, so I was very, very aware of the severity of that storm and how it affected our community, but I hadn't gotten a chance to see how it affected the farm specifically yet. So it was just amazing to come out here and see the damage that storm left. I mean, there's just trees down everywhere. But to get things started while I go check cameras, we're gonna go check out a food plot. It's a sorghum plot. It's a new plot this year. It's not a new plot, but it's sorghum is new to me for a deer. We've never used it for deer, so we're gonna cut over to that and let you guys check out that plot and see how that's doing, and I'm gonna go check these cards, and then we'll get caught back up with you guys and give you an update on the bucks. So real quick, while I was checking cards, I stopped by a Big and BC plot, one of the Big and BC plots I planted August 1st. And due to the dryness, that plot is dirt. That seed didn't even get to germinate. So unfortunately, I'll have to come back in and plant that again here when I do the rest of the fall plots. So as you guys can see, I'm standing in this new plot. We checked it out a week ago and it looks great. And this new plot will lead us right into the bucks. This plot was planted specifically for a buck, and that buck is going to be Dirty Mike. Dirty Mike is back again. And if I'm correct, I know some of the viewers might not agree, but I really hope I get to prove myself or somebody wrong someday and pull the jaw out of this deer. But if I'm correct, I have this deer at 9.5 this year, and that's just through years of trail cam history with this deer. So with that, we'll definitely be checking in with you every week. Like I said, I couldn't be more excited to be here doing this with you guys and sharing it with you for another year, especially in 2020, you can't help but feel a little extra thankful to be out here. It's just been a crazy year, and it's nice to have the hunting season coming and something to look forward to. So other than that, we'll catch you right back here next week. I really appreciate you guys watching the show and getting caught up with us on another upcoming season. And thanks for watching the Heartland Show.
Well guys, it's August 29th and Collins and I are down at the River Bottom Farm. It's a familiar piece that I actually did a lot of hunting on last year. If you guys can recall, Max actually harvested his last day of the season archery buck, and then I actually harvested my late season muzzleloader buck down here as well. But we're actually on the creek that sits right on the food plot that Max harvested that buck on, and what we're doing here today is actually trying to draw some of this water from the creek and put it onto the food plot. The past 4 weeks, we really haven't gotten an inch, not even maybe 3/10 is all we've gotten here in the last few weeks. And Collins and I devised a new way to pump water from the creek to the food plot. This pump actually does cost about 250 bucks, and then all the other money that goes into this would be for gas and hose to get it to your food plot, and maybe a sprinkler as well. But I'm gonna get this put in the food plot. We're gonna start pumping water onto the plot today. We're gonna check some cutty backs. I actually just bought a cell camera too, so we're gonna hook all these cutty links up to the cell camera, and there should be some new familiar faces as well that we should be able to show you guys today as well. So just follow along with us. It should be a fun-filled day. Farming. Well, that about wraps it up for today. We got everything that we wanted to do accomplished. As we're talking right now, we're actually still watering the food plot, but the cutty link system is up. It is on a cell camera. There's about a dozen cameras that are going all to that cell camera. A few familiar faces actually did show up on the farm this week, and that's Tripod. It's a three-legged deer. I only had a handful of encounters of him last year, but I did video him quite a bit. Had a lot of trail cam pictures of him, so that's definitely a deer that hopefully we can get a better look at. Probably going to be on the hit list this year, but like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of 4-year-olds, a lot of stud 3-year-olds. One stud 3-year-old in particular we haven't named yet, but Collins and I are looking forward to watching him grow on this farm the next few years. But the old 10, like I had mentioned earlier, showed back up. A lot of encounters with that deer. That deer is probably the bully buck on this farm. But the one that we're most looking forward to showing back up is Turkeyfoot. And I introduced that deer last year to you guys. You guys saw the sheds of him that we found actually this past February. And that's going to be a really fun deer to chase, a fun story to continue this fall. That deer and Haas, just a really big typical that showed up last year. But on other farms, I'll introduce quite a few other farms that I have permission on that I hunt quite a bit as well. Collins hunts with me on all these farms as well, so there's quite a few deer that should be showing up probably September, October, obviously. Wavo did show up. That's a deer I've got 4 years of history with, actually. Just a really big, mature 8-point. That deer is probably sitting anywhere close to 8 years old right now. So I actually did film a really, really nice tall brow tine buck that Collins and I plan on chasing here in about 3 weeks. I think youth season comes up. So Collins and I are really excited to get a few kids out this fall. I know he's going to be taking his nephew Donovan. I'm probably going to be taking my little cousin. Just a lot of big deer this year. It seems like we had a really good growing year, and we're not getting the rain, but hopefully this project on my farm will help show you guys how to, for $250, $300 if you include the hose and sprinkler and everything. I mean, you can get water on your plot if you got a creek close by. But thank you guys for watching Midwest Whitetail.
Hey guys, welcome to Midwest Whitetail, the Heartland. Today is September 1st, and we are now about a month out from the season opener up in Illinois, and we could not be any more excited. This afternoon, me and Brooks are out here shooting our bows and getting ready for the season, and Brooks especially is having a good time because he picked up the new RX4 Alpha Hoyt bow, and that thing is pretty sweet. I'm pretty jealous. So yeah, it's a pretty afternoon. It is pretty hot still. We're ready for that October weather to get here up in Illinois. But this season should be a fun season for us. We picked up a 720 acre lease that butts up to our original farm that we call Sleepy Hollow. It's going to be a learning process with that farm, but we know it pretty well, I think, and we did get 5 Frigid-Forage food plots put in on that one. So I'm going to let Brooks kind of go into some of the deer that we've seen riding the roads and go from there.
Yeah, so like Davis said, we did get a little bit of a late start this year putting cameras out, just with all the craziness. So we haven't had a really great card pool yet on the farm. Hopefully the next work trip we will get a chance to kind of get a good inventory and see what we have living on the farm right now. But with that being said, one of our favorite things to do every summer is just to kind of ride the roads around the properties that we hunt. And picking up that new 720 this year gave us a lot more roads to ride, knowing some of those deer might be near close by. So there were 3 deer in particular that I wanted to talk about. The first one is a big 7x6 with just a ton of character, great brows, just a beautiful deer. He's out in that bean field that we've seen him in just about every afternoon. So that's been a lot of fun, just knowing, after a full day of work, getting in the car to go ride around that buck's going to be out there. The second deer I wanted to talk about is a deer we're calling Rook. He's actually running in the same bachelor group as the 7x6. Just got tons of character. He'd be a great trophy for anybody. One kind of unique thing about him is he's got a G2 that splits like in 4 different directions. So that's the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. And he's just, again, one of those consistent deer that we know he'll most likely be out in that same bean field every afternoon. The third deer is actually a deer that we remember seeing last year in the summer riding around, and he's got split G2s on both sides, and they're real like deep fork splits. He's got a great frame. We don't have a name for him yet either, but he's just a beautiful deer. And we've actually seen him a few times this summer as well. He's, all 3 of these deer, especially this one, are really close to our nearest property line. So we're really excited just to see if any of those bucks will show up, or at least in the rut, just know that there's that kind of caliber deer running around. With that being said, there's a lot of other great bucks we've seen, and we know we've got some good deer on the property that we're excited to see if they're back this year. So should be a great season. We're just, can't wait for October 1st. Got one more work trip to go take care of and put a few tree stands up, and we'll be ready to go. So thank you all for watching Midwest Whitetail, the Heartland series.
Welcome to Midwest Whitetail, the Heartland Show. It's August 29th. Dad and I are out here on the main farm that we hunt, trying to get a few last minute preparations done here before the season opens here in about a month. It's been a busy year so far. We've been busy putting in food plots and getting stands hung. And at the beginning of the summer, on May 9th, my wife and I were blessed to be able to welcome our first child into the world. One of our projects that we wanted to get done today was to get some memory cards pulled and also put our finalizing touch on our cutting link system. We decided today that we're going to add a cell cam here. We've already had some good success with our cutting link system, being able to check cameras with minimal intrusion by placing them in areas that we can drive right up to them. Our top target for this year is going to be a buck that we've had a lot of history with over the last few years that we call the Split Brow 10. 2 years ago we had an encounter with him. Never closed the distance and offered us a shot. Last year all we did was just get some pictures of him. Never did have an encounter with him, but this year he's really blown up into a great deer. This year he's going to be 6.5 years old, so he'll definitely be right there at the top of the list. Hopefully we can put the pieces of the puzzle together and find a way to get on him this fall. Another buck that we got our eye on is a buck that we call Maverick. We first saw Maverick on December 2nd last year. We were hunting over a cut cornfield, and he came out with a group of does. Before that, we had no clue that that buck was even in the area, and he actually stuck around on the farm throughout the late season. So now that we got pictures of him this summer, especially in this area we haven't before, we're hopeful that he'll move in here and call this area home. So he's definitely going to be high on the hit list for us going into this season. We got one more set that we want to try to get hung today, and that will pretty much wrap up all of our preseason work that we need to get done here at this farm before the season opens. Real excited to get out there this fall, and hopefully we can meet up with one of our top hit list bucks. Thanks for watching Midwest Whitetail, the Heartland Show.
Here in the Heartland in Northwest Illinois. Looking forward to another awesome year at Midwest Whitetail. I had surgery a couple weeks ago, and I'm on a 10-pound weight restriction, so some of the normal season prep, hanging tree stands, trimming out some lanes, planting some food plots, I'm going to need help with this year. But really looking forward to a 2020 season. It's always great to come down and try to find some bucks back from last year, or some new bucks maybe that are here this year. And this year's no different. Super excited about this year. So gonna check a few cameras and then sit in the corn tonight overlooking some alfalfa and some beans. And maybe we'll have a few bucks come out. Should be a great evening. It's beautiful weather. August is here and the season's around the corner. So glad you could be with us. I'm looking forward to an awesome 2020. Just had an awesome buck come out. He looks like, I think he's actually an 11 point, but just a beautiful, beautiful deer. It's a deer we call the birthday buck. So we got pictures of him the day before my dad's birthday this year, and so we sent the pictures to him on his birthday. So we're calling him the birthday buck. I'm not sure which deer this is from last year, looking through the pictures, but I'm not entirely sure. But just looking at his body, he looks like a good mature deer. He's got a decent gut going on, so he may very well be on the target list. But man, just awesome to be able to see him out in the beans and the alfalfa, and he's got a couple little bucks with him, so pretty exciting. Hopefully we can follow the story of the birthday buck from August 5th here through the end of the season, and maybe we can wrap a tag around him. He sure is pretty. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Awesome evening. Probably saw at least 2 dozen deer. And looks like 2 good mature deer. That one called the birthday buck, and then another right at dark, a bachelor group of 5 came out, and one really nice 8-point. So it was a great bachelor group. There was a really pretty 10 that looked like a younger deer, but man, what an awesome evening. So really excited that just will drive me more for 2020. So come along on our journey, and we're excited to bring it to you.